during the war so far. Moscow is sending military equipment to the Kursk region, where a state of emergency is in force. Hundreds of Ukrainian troops poured over the border on Tuesday, although Kyiv has not...
Uh-oh, stream died. Uh-oh, what happened? Uh-oh. Oh, no, I got brigaded by... Did I get brigaded by the fascists? No? No, okay. No, we're still good, boys. We're still here. We're still here. Bit rate's good. Bit rate's good. Stream's back up. No? Oh, no, it's my internet. No, it's my internet. Yeah, no, my internet. Yep. No, it's my internet. Am I getting doxxed? Oh, please. Please let me know if I'm getting doxxed by the fascists. That'd be really something. That'd be so special. You know you're doing something right when the fascists are targeting you. Okay, so, okay, bit rate's back up. Oh my God, I'm spilling water all over my... Jesus Christ. Okay, yep, bit rate's looking good over here, guys. I think we're good. Had a little DDoS attack from the fascists. Ha ha, I got you. That's the fascist celebrating his victory. All right, we're back. All right, there's a little hiccup with my internet. It's fine.
Officially acknowledged the incursion.
Images the Russian Defense Ministry wants you to see.
I don't know, Cam
They
Goblin.
allegedly show Russian jets striking Ukrainian forces on Russian soil.
You can shit on the Nazis all day, as well you should, but you can't underestimate them. They're quite resourceful when they want to ruin someone's life. You know?
Part of Moscow's response to Kyiv's incursion
Free
into
Palestine,
the Kursk
baby.
region.
Whoa!
But
holy shit! They are literally zip tying these fucking 40-year-old dummy bombs. They're literally just strapping wings to these things. They used to shoot these out of, you know, big expensive vehicles. You know that? They used to shoot them out of fucking tanks and airplanes and boats. Now they just... Look at this. They just strap that shit. And you're good to go, dude. Look at this shit, dude. They just retrofitted it, man. Modern tech, this tech, it looks simple. It looks dumb almost. It looks dumb. It looks so simple. But the wings, the materials, the propulsion, you know, the batteries, you know, the energy that it's using, everything, it's all modern tech. It's all modern tech.
Russia's forces are said to be scrambling to contain the Ukrainian offensive. On Friday, the Kremlin said it was sending more military hardware to the region, including rocket launchers, artillery, tanks and heavy trucks. Meanwhile, it was also pulling people out. Moscow has declared a federal-level emergency in the region and claims to have evacuated some 3,000 civilians.
Yeah, you're safe.
At a food distribution center.
You're safe. You're safe. Your family's safe. You might even have a home to come back to.
In the city of Kursk, people arriving from areas close to the Ukraine border said the situation was tense.
My grandfather is still there and I can't reach him. I've applied to have him evacuated, but no answer yet. They just say circumstances won't allow it.
Oh, yeah, that video that was just posted there by Classic. Yeah, we haven't shown it on stream, but it has been in the Discord. I'll go ahead and put it back in the Discord. But that's a fascinating video about a drone pilot that was interviewed. So it's a very good video. Yeah, New York t-shirt. Is that what this is? New York?
All the border areas are currently under bombardment. The people here had to leave their homes because of the bombing.
By all accounts,
Hey, can someone please tell this stupid Russian motherfucker in my chat that Russia needs to get the fuck out of Ukraine immediately? That this is not a pro-Russian invasion stream? Just to make that, can someone make that clear to this dude? Getting a little annoyed. Thank you.
Incursion by Ukraine appears to have been more successful than Moscow would like to admit. This video shows
yeah,
a
that was
convoy
censored.
of 15 burnt out
Bunch of dead bodies in the back of that truck.
Russian military trucks
HIMARS strike. Just a bunch of tungsten balls ripping through them, dude.
in the Kursk
Nasty.
region. Russia's President Vladimir Putin held a meeting with the Security Council again on Friday, his third this week. He's cast the
Okay, good. So we do have this video here. So this is him with Gerasimov here, Valerie. This is him with Valerie receiving, getting the bad news that this is clearly a theater. I like how he responded to the criticism about him being a coward after COVID, him sitting at the end of a long table. He's got him a little closer now.
Ukrainian offensive as a major provocation.
A little closer.
Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky
And what a contrast too. Look at, so we see this the cold. I mean, it's almost like, it's like a scene out of Star Wars. I wish there was a longer shot of this table, and maybe we'll get one here. But okay, here we go. It's kind of like a scene from the Empire, right? Versus the scrappy, some basement, some bunker somewhere, elbow to elbow, some uncomfortable, this is a normal meeting that humans have. This is the kind of meeting a dictator has, right? The empire has. It's just a generality. It's just just an observation. Don't look too much into it, but I do find that interesting that, this looks like something Darth Vader at the end of the fucking table here. And then you got the rebels all crammed in together with the fucking paper cups and water bottles.
While Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky also held a meeting with his top defense officials on Friday. He said that his army chief had briefed him on, quote, the defensive actions taking place in areas used by Russia to launch airstrikes against Ukraine. Although Ukraine hasn't officially admitted carrying out the cross-border incursion, it appeared to justify the operation, considering Russian troops regularly conduct airstrikes from the Kursk region.
For more, I'm joined now by Domitila Sagramoso, Senior Lecturer in Security and Development at King's College London. It's good to have you with us again.
Let's hear what she has to say.
And Domitila, what more do we know about Russia's new operation to halt these advancing Ukrainian troops?
Well, we don't have a lot of details, but what we have seen is footage of military convoys, which involve light infantry, motorized light infantry, with T-62 tanks, artilleries, and rocket launchers. So there is an effort, of course, by Russia to try to send forces, which in many cases is primarily composed of reserve forces, to the area. It is not clear yet whether they are mobilizing forces that are deployed inside Ukraine, which is probably one of the objectives that the Ukrainians were trying to achieve, to ensure that there is sort of a diversion of forces away from the more critical areas on the front lines.
I'm just not even going to entertain that shit. You know what I mean? It's just instant fucking flush. If you're, you know what I mean? I don't even have time for those fucking kooks. Go back to fucking prisonplanet.com, you idiot.
Because this also would take quite a bit of time. But, it cannot be excluded. There are reports that forces are being moved from areas such as Kupiansk, Kharkiv.
Right back. I got something
but I think it's too early to tell exactly what kind of forces are being deployed in that area.
I want to come back to what you said about Ukraine's strategy, but first, this mobilization is coming at the heels of one of the biggest incursions of its kind that in this war so far. What does this tell us about Russia's existing defense capabilities?
Well, it is clear that this was a very weak spot, that Russia hadn't really set up proper defensive lines, proper lines of protection, as they did inside Ukraine, the so-called Surovikin line, which was very well set up with very strong defensive lines, mines, and these kind of fortifications have not been set up in these areas because probably the Russians never thought that the Ukrainians would dare such kind of attacks in these areas. And of course, the Ukrainians try to find these weak points. So it clearly indicates that this is great sort of deficiencies on the Russian side, also because there were intelligence reports that the Russians apparently received that this kind of concentration of forces on the Ukrainian side of the border in the areas, of course, was taking place. But it was dismissed by sort of the higher echelons of the Russian military. So here also we see sort of
Almost done. Be right back. What the hell happened
weak
in quality?
assessment of intelligence.
Why would you do
that
this?
is coming
Okay,
in.
I'll be right back.
So that is also problematic. So we have the combination of these two elements of lack of preparedness and lack of attention of intelligence that is coming up.
Clearly something that Ukraine seemingly has managed to exploit. Thank you so much for that. Domitila Sagramoso from King's College London.
And let's bring in our correspondent in Kyiv, Nick Connolly. Nick, do we have any indication of how far Ukraine is trying to go here?
This is a very difficult question, given that there are no independent journalists on the ground. We are relying on either locals, Russian locals in Kursk region posting to social media, which is increasingly dangerous for them. We've had reports of Russian civilians who posted videos of the results of Ukrainian attacks being arrested, detained, or the so-called military bloggers. These are Russian bloggers that are close to the Russian military and obviously have an agenda. So there has been talk of the fact that maybe the Ukrainians had initially gone further deeper into into Russian territory rather, heading maybe towards the city of Kursk or the Kursk nuclear power station. Now reports that maybe the...
Yeah, no, that was interesting. But the military analysis that I saw just a few hours ago before I streamed is showing that there doesn't appear to be any intention to hit up the nuclear power plant. Welcome back, Woke Patriot. Love to see you. Thank you for coming back. Love to see all you OGs. Thank you so much. Loyal viewers in the News Underground, I do appreciate it. You know, I know I'm a fucking news nobody, but it's the chat that makes this stream what it is, keeps me honest. So thank you for being here. Female Unix, welcome back.
Those were just kind of outrider attacks, and they're now focusing more on heading east and west along the border. So kind of a long sliver, a long kind of buffer zone along the border rather than going deep into Kursk region. We simply don't know. It seems like there's a lot of opportunism here. That
so that you think this, you legitimate think, that's so funny. You're just trying to be funny. You legitimately think this, so is this region known for sugar production? This Ukraine locking down, no more, that would be funny, dude. If Ukraine was able to stop the production of candy in Russia. No more sweets. Talk about a psyop. No more chocolate. No more candy.
Particularly the Ukraine.
No, Classica. No, I don't. No, but if you want to support the stream, we do have a merch store. Check it out. We do have a merch store, and there is some way to donate through something. Hold on, let me find this. I think I have
a side wasn't expecting this to be as easy as it has proven to be. They weren't expecting the Russians to be as unprepared as has been the case, and so they're basically trying to see what they can get and work out on the ground what this is going to be. Are they going to be disappearing back up across the border soon, or is this something where they're going to be digging in to then potentially exchange this territory somewhere down the line?
Will Russia be able to reinforce its defences quick enough?
Well, that's been the kind of very interesting story. Already you've got the blame game running on the Russian side, especially some Chechen units that were meant to be protecting the border, basically coming out and saying, well, the Ukrainians just rushed past us. We tried to defend the border, but suddenly they were behind us inside Russian territory. So seeming
I get $1 whole from those merch sales. But yeah, no, someone used it. Someone donated some money to me through Stream Elements. I forgot that I even had that set up. I'll make sure to have that front and center. So if you want to chip in for the stream, but yeah, no subscriptions. I don't want any of Twitch's money. I don't want any of their advertisers. They don't, I'm not going to argue with this Russian guy who's saying Russians don't support the fucking war, because they absolutely do support the fucking war. Yeah, I will, Lenny, for sure. I know you're interested in that, and I do appreciate your interest in that. Thank you. But yeah, someone did it somehow, so I got to figure out how to do it. I need to subscribe so I can get my 3 months of free Apple TV. I don't want it. It's too much trouble. I don't want it, right? I don't want to take Twitch's money and then, they start advertising on my stream. Right? They start advertising on my stream, and then all of a sudden, you know, Clorox bleach. I always use Clorox bleach, even though it's like an example from the 50s, right? But you know, some company has a problem with how I cover the news, and all of a sudden they're going to Jeff Bezos and like they listen. If an advertiser makes a complaint about a stream, that stream is annihilated within the hour. Okay? If anybody paying Twitch to advertise has a single problem with a single streamer, they report that shit. They're all over that. Okay? So I don't want, you know, I don't even want it. I don't even want it, man. Jeff, I'm just happy to be here, Jeff. Keep your money. I know you need it, baby. You need it. I don't need it. Jeff can keep his money. I don't need it.
The defensive lines built by the Russian side here not very effective, unlike those defensive lines that the Russians have built in occupied Ukraine. And it seems like the Ukrainians knew where those defenses were. There seemingly weren't huge minefields, and so they were able to clear those defensive lines pretty quickly and you know, basically overtake any defenses that were there. And we understand, obviously, Russian forces are thinly spread right now. They're trying to attack all across the front lines in Ukraine. So they largely these were, with the exception of those Chechen forces, people doing their military service and kind of local law enforcement rather than kind of battle-hardened troops.
How are people in Kyiv reacting to the developments?
Yeah, how's the... Yeah.
I think it's definitely changed the mood, the tone here in Kyiv. Obviously, there's been months of bad news, not catastrophic, but bad news from the east. And this has shown that Ukraine can, out of nowhere, basically without much in the way of a kind of announcement or the kind of expectations that we had last year of that counteroffensive, basically change the rules of the game and take everyone by surprise. There's also been a lot of kind of happiness here in Ukraine that Western countries have not come down hard on this, have not seemingly tried to stop Ukraine doing this. There've been lots of talk of red lines and, Western countries not wanting to provoke Russia. That seemingly is now, not an issue. So I think the political side that this shows that, Ukraine is not going to be railroaded in some kind of agreement on Russian terms. That is something that people are seeing as incredibly positive here.
Intriguing developments from Nick.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to have a conversation with Hassan. I see that you guys are talking about him there in the chat, but honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I just want to keep it simple when it comes to these. What would we call them? Political celebrities, the celebrities, politically adjacent. I don't even know what to call them. Influencers, political influencers. The only thing I care about is, are you engaging in political activism? Yeah. Can someone please tell this Russian person that I agree with that statement? I bring that up all the time. But the fact is that Russians are not allowed to protest. They get arrested for protesting. So we have no idea how many Russians are actually pro-peace. Mehdi Hassan's great. Yeah, Mehdi Hassan, Zateo, solid news network. That would be a conversation really worth having. I don't know how much it'd be worth having a conversation with Hassan right now. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get Hassan. It's like, are you just not watching the news? Is that it? So anyway, we're watching clips of the battle as it raged overnight. I don't know if this was night 3, day. We've had 5 days of this, so you and Zizek would be funny. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe I should try to do some interviews. I really should. Because that would be truly an honor of my life to have a conversation with Zizek. The main thing that I'd want to talk to Zizek about is the connection of the writings of the Marquis de Sade and the current Republican Party. I'd be curious what he has to say about, the similarities between the characters described in 120 Days of Sodom, and the current Republican Party. The pedophilia, the disgusting behavior we're seeing from not just, elected officials, but of course, their followers, the people that adhere to the right-wing dogma. That would be the main question I'd want to talk about with Zizek. So anyway, just really amazing videos. I'm just, like I said, I'm just flying through these clips here. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, man, because Hassan has the popularity, he has the money, he has time to dig in to these issues, to really have substantive, you know, to like have substantive commentary on the things that he's talking about. And it seems like I do more research, you know, while I'm like watching my kid and like all the news that I'm watching and reading, you know, in any minute that I have free. Seems like I'm doing more research sometimes on some of these topics than he is, and it's like, how is that possible? You know, is he even married? Does he has no kids? He's got a boatload of money. Everyone loves him. You know, thousands of people tune in every time he hits start stream. And what, you don't have a couple hours out of each day to read a newspaper? You know, some of the takes, man, lazy. They're just lazy. You know, you got Destiny over here walking all over you, man. Ooh, right there, yeah. So that's some kind of, she got hit by a shockwave or something there. Yeah, you don't want to get near the window. Yeah, Chem Goblin, go ahead and tell me when I should go ahead and ban this this Russian fella here. It's clearly he's trying to provoke, or you know, trying to find people that just hate Russia, right? Is that what he's trying to do, right? Yeah, because that's it. Yeah, our panties are in a twist because we just don't like you. That's what's going on. I don't know. The war is not over. No, this is absolutely still up in the air, without a doubt. It's definitely a war of attrition, but this move into Kursk forces Putin's hand in a very interesting way. Next to beds and hotels. Oh, look, I'm not going to kink shame. That's fine. His wife was into it, dude. His wife was into all that kinky, super kinky shit. So, you know, what can poor boy Destiny do, man? Poor boy Destiny. Exactly. Many Russians will answer the question if they support the war with yes, not because they're in favor of the war. They have no idea what's actually going on, but because of any repercussions they would have to face. Yeah, I acknowledge that, Blue Brother. I'm happy to acknowledge that. Yeah. Yeah, Destiny is great. Yeah, he's a crazy guy. Yeah, I like crazy. Yeah, I mean, I disagree a lot with Destiny, but I gotta say I agree with Destiny on a lot of things as well. So, I feel like him and I could get totally fucking trashed and we'd have a good time. I like crazy motherfuckers. That's what we need right now. We need crazy motherfuckers. Right? We're up against a wall of fascists, man. They are there and they are ready to take over and dismantle our liberties. This shit is not a joke. This shit is not a joke. How Hassan makes him money. Okay. They have good idea of what's going on. They have access to internet. Yeah, no, they do know. I mean, I don't know, some do. I mean, it's, you know, Chem Goblin, that's not you know, look what we have here in America. Same thing. People are totally propagandized in their own little bubble of information. Any general on the planet who thinks there's some winning strategy for Ukraine at this point. Yeah, you're wrong. Give up, give up, give up, capitulate, give up, kiss Putin's ring, bootlick to Putin. Yeah, we get it, bitch. It ain't happening. Got anything else to say? How about you trolley the fuck out of here, bitch, with your defeatism? Give up, give up, give up. You got no hope. Not a general on earth thinks they're going to win. That's not fucking true at all. But am I going to sit here and defend points against a bad actor that isn't going to acknowledge reality? What a waste of my fucking time that would be, huh? So why don't you get the fuck out of here and save everyone some time? Because that's the goal, isn't it? You just want to waste time. Give up, give up, give up. Yeah, I mean, Davey, ironically, there is a winning strategy for Russia. Just, you know, keep throwing, if they can just make it last, if they can stretch it out. That's the winning strategy for Russia. You know, that's it. And ironically, that's more clear because, and the reason, let me make this clear. The reason why victory for Russia in terms of just stretching it out is more clear than the current, you know, like, what is victory for Ukraine? The reason why that, like, what is victory for Ukraine is even a question is because of the lack of leadership from the United States. You know, tiptoeing, so afraid to escalate. Oh, can't do it. Won't put boots on the ground. Prevent Ukraine from using certain weapons and certain distances. And, oh, we got to be careful. That's why it's murky. If the United States was really in on this shit, if the Western Alliance, like the Western Alliance is, like Poland is, was really pushing on this, putting boots on the ground, there wouldn't be any question about who's going to win and how that victory would be achieved. But because of the lack of leadership, and Putin is depending on this, he knows that if he can stretch this shit out 5, 6, 7 years, just keep throwing bodies into it, 2, 3, 4 million, doesn't matter. If he can just stretch it out, he knows he can outlast the Western democracies because they're cowards. They're I don't know what to say about these global leaders when it comes to Russia. So that's why it currently looks a little bit more clear, because it does, like, there's a clear victory strategy for Russia. Like I said, stretch it out, outlast the West. Oh, we don't have the money for it. The right-wingers and, all the bad actor right-wingers in those various democracies will eventually win out. Right? Sure, we might get another 4 years, maybe another 8 years with Kamala. Hey, we get it. Baldy, what did I tell you? Get your defeatist ass is not welcome here. We get it. Give up. Capitulate, bootlick, forget about Bucha, forget about the attempt on Kyiv, forget about the fact that Russia is just going to take what they get. We'll get a couple years of a tepid peace, and then it'll be a fucking hardcore invasion from multiple angles, coming up from Crimea, coming up from the Donbass, coming on down from Belarus, right? All directed towards Kyiv, right? Let's go ahead and ignore all that, right? Bootlick, capitulate. We get it. Leave. It's not working. Not on this chat. Not on this channel. You defeatist. Disgust me. You fucking disgust me. Oh, well, if you really cared about peace, you'd suck Putin's dick. You're pathetic. Have you guys thought about giving up? That would be the right and humane thing to do, right? Lefty, right leftist, who cares about human rights? And Davey joining along with the chorus. You've been hanging around right-wingers too long, Davey. So you're go ahead and laying the foundation for giving up, huh? Pretty pathetic, Davey. No, it's not a win for Ukraine. It's not a win for NATO. It's not a win for the global community if Putin gets a chunk. Maybe if he just gets Crimea. Maybe if he just gets to keep Crimea. Okay. Maybe. All right. But it's not a victory. It's not a victory. It's not. Makes the entire Western Democratic coalition look like weak little bitches that you can outlast, that you can out-brutalize. If you have enough resources, time, and unity with a coalition with China and India, if you have enough unity with enough countries, you can outlast NATO, you can outlast the West, and take what you want. You've been hanging out with them right-wingers too long, Davey. Video of a HIMARS destroying a Russian military convoy in Rylisk and Kursk region of Russia last night. The strike took place 28 kilometers from Ukraine, inside Russia. Wow, look at that. Military ordnance used against military targets. Wow. Maybe the Russian military should take some notes. Of course, we saw Russia retaliate, striking a civilian target, of course. Right? We kill their soldiers, they kill Ukrainian civilians. Yeah, you're pathetic. You're pathetic. You're fucking pathetic, Bulletproof. I'm disgusted at the U.S. for provoking this and Putin for invading. But the bloodshed has to stop. We get it, dude. Give up, give up, give up. It's the only way for peace. I've asked you many times to leave. You've made your point. Suck Putin's dick. It's the only way to win. We get it. You're pathetic. Get the fuck out of here. I know exactly the guy that you like listening to. It's that dude and that chick who are constantly berating about the sanctity of Palestinian human rights, then in one breath, and then in another begging Ukrainians to give up and let Russia invade, talking about how Zelensky is the madman for resisting against Putin's aggression. I can't remember their names, but it's these two Irish parliament members that are always featured on Democracy Now! That are always talking about human rights and human rights and human rights, except when it comes for Russia invading Ukraine. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, Zelensky needs to stand down, and that would be the best thing to do. That would be the best thing to do. If anyone wants peace, that's the right thing to do is just give up. No, not Crystal and Sagar. No. They're not pundits. They're politicians. I don't know why I put a. No, they're all over Democracy Now! I can't find their names, but it's hilarious. I think last year I showed videos of these guys. I used to show them quite a bit because they were standing up. Yeah, this woman right here, Daisy Gideon. So this one right here. In one breath, she will stand for Palestinian solidarity and how dare Israel, right? So here she is standing up for Palestine. But then she'll make an impassioned speech. It'll be pro-Russian, how the Ukrainians need to capitulate, how Zelensky is the madman for standing up and fighting back. I guarantee you it's him and it's her and this other dude. That this guy, because that's the narrative, right? Oh, well, I mean, I don't like any of it. I mean, clearly Russia was provoked by NATO. I mean, clearly they had no choice but to line up their troops on the border and try to spearhead towards Kyiv. Clearly they need a buffer zone. They deserve a buffer zone. Fucking says who, by the way? Wouldn't that be cute if America declared a buffer zone and we took like the first 50 miles of the Canadian border? We just took it. Oh, because we feel unsafe. We feel so scared. And imagine peaceniks coming out and defending that shit. Oh, well, America was scared, so, for if human rights was to be respected, then Canada just needs to capitulate and let America take that little sliver of Canada. I mean, really, they shouldn't fight for it. It's really, Trudeau is really a human rights a monster for sending Canadian troops to fight against the super strong Americans. It's pathetic, defeatist talk like that allows the Putins of the world to operate. And it disgusts me. It fucking disgusts me that it's cloaked in this leftism, in this fake leftism. Oh, we care so much about human rights, but, give Russia a break. You want to come in the chat, and let me guess, if I didn't ban that person would just be every 5 minutes. Oh, well, Ukraine should give up. Oh, well, that would be the best idea. Ukraine should give up. That would be the common sense thing. There's no general on earth that thinks Ukraine's going to win. Yeah, give up, give up, give up, give up, give up, give up. Yeah, we get it. It's not working. I already shown that clip. Russia's airbase outside of Moscow in Lipsk, Russia, was destroyed by Ukraine during the night. Yikes. That's an oof. Yikesos. Oh, yikes. Ooh, time to go. Let's get into my $10,000 Japanese or Chinese ripoff Toyota. What even brand is this? What is this? What vehicle is this? A good look at it there. We can't get a good look at it. A Toyota kind of looks like a Toyota, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Russia in counter-terror mode over Ukraine attack. So isn't that funny? You know, Russia coming out and saying, this is provocative. This is provocative. You know, irony died. You know, irony died because Putin killed it. Putin fucking poisoned irony with a fucking poison, you know, plutonium or whatever the fuck he poisons people with. Palladium. What did he poison Navalny with? That radiation? That's what Putin did to irony. Put it in a gulag. Polonium, was that what it was?
And we turn now to events in Russia, and Moscow is introducing strict new security measures in 3 regions bordering Ukraine in response to this week's surprise incursion by Ukrainian forces into the Kursk region. Now
they should nuke Kursk. That would show Ukraine. Drop a nuke on Kursk. What would you do? Could NATO respond if Russia nuked itself? Could NATO respond? I mean, they could say technically the radiation travels in different directions, right? But what if Ukraine, or what if Russia nukes itself? Do we respond? Do we respond? I don't think we respond, dog. I think we just stand. Yeah, Is there a way geopolitically to respond with stunned silence and just like look at them like they dropped a nasty fart at the cocktail party?
Also concerns from the UN Nuclear Agency, which has urged both sides to exercise maximum restraint as fighting moves closer to a nuclear power plant. Well, fighting's been raging since Ukraine's army launched its surprise incursion this week, with reports suggesting that they could be operating up to 30 kilometers inside Russia, with intense fighting close to the town of Sudzha. Francis Reed reports.
Filmed from a dashboard, then uploaded onto social media, abandoned and burned.
No, the civilian population is 100% partially responsible. I'm sorry, that's confusing. The civilian population is absolutely somewhat culpable. Their apathy, the apathy of the Russian civilian, is the reason why Putin enjoys the power that he enjoys. So now the American people are guilty of apathy and allowing the American government to kill Vietnamese people unnecessarily, Iraqi people unnecessarily, Afghanistan people unnecessarily, Cubans unnecessarily, etc., etc., etc. The civilians, not 100%, but they're every government that derives its power from its population. So every government, every country, right? Russia wouldn't be able to do what it's doing if the Russian people stood up against it en masse. That's a fact. And that's a fact for America. That's a fact for every country. If there was a major civilian revolt, right? We pay our taxes. We allow these governments to tax us. We give them our money, right? They give us all kinds of things as well. It's a quid pro quo. But one of the reasons why I'm eventually going to be giving up my U.S. citizenship once I've become a citizen here in Canada is that I no longer want my tax dollars to contribute to the military-industrial complex. I am partially responsible. Every penny in taxes that the federal government has ever taken, I'm partially responsible for the murder and violence that the military-industrial complex has perpetuated. So yeah, it's completely ridiculous to be saying that the Russian civilians are totally innocent. Could someone, condense that, send it on over to Mr. Ruski? I know, Chem Goblin. I'm about to ban this guy. I'm really, it's frustrating. It's really, he just wants to spread propaganda one way. Canada almost always corrupts, contributes to the wars that the U.S. starts. Yes, I'm aware of that. Yeah. Davey, if you could go ahead and point out a country that is completely disconnected from the world, from the Western consensus, from everything. If you could go ahead and tell me that country? Is it the country of Davey? Can I live with you? Can my family move in with you, Davey? Under your sovereign utopia? All right, we're done. Thank you so much. We're officially done. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Burned Russian troop carriers in the Kursk region. The person who posted these pictures has since been arrested, but the BBC has verified the footage.
Oh, yeah,
Ukrainian assaults on Russia started on Tuesday and seem to have come as a surprise. Several villages have been seized. This footage from the Ukrainian military is purported to show Russian soldiers surrendering. Reports suggest the focus is happening just north of Ukraine, with fighting thought to be concentrated near the town of Sudzha. Moscow says up to 1,000 Ukrainian troops are involved in a region which contains a nuclear plant. The UN nuclear agency has urged restraint, but the astonishing images of Russian jets bombing Russian territory seem to run counter to the Kremlin's official narrative that the war in Ukraine has been going to plan. President Putin holding a meeting with his Security Council. It's calling the Ukrainian incursion terrorism. And Russia is now bringing in reinforcements. But no act goes unpunished. A Russian missile attack on a supermarket in the eastern Donetsk region has proved fatal, although it's not clear whether it was a direct response to Ukraine's cross-border.
Right, and we got the bastards in the chat, right, from Ireland. Oh, well, I don't have any skin in the game here, but I think we should really capitulate to Putin over here. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. Ukrainians haven't killed civilian one, invading Russia. Russia intentionally. A Russian general, a Russian official looked at a map and said, yep, right there at this time, there's going to be dozens of civilians there. Take out this grocery store. Fire this multi-million-dollar fucking missile. Take it out. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's kind of both sides, isn't it? I mean, really? I don't have any skin in the game, so I think Ukrainians should give it up. I'm supposed to let that fester in my chat like fucking mold in the fridge, huh? Stinks already, but I'm supposed to let it linger. Oh, we should give up, right? That's the right thing to do. Give up, right?
Assault. Anya was there. We started climbing out of the window, she says. We were barely outside when everything started burning.
This is a Naruto fan,
one way,
for God's sakes.
My colleague ran the other way.
She's just like us. She's just like us. Jesus Christ. Is there any question? There's not a fucking doubt in my mind what the right strategy here is. Now look, Ukraine without the aid, you got to start talking about capitulation. Oh, be quiet, Chem Goblin. You're over here defending macaroni hair, but then you dissing on anime fans? How dare you? How dare you? But no, look, if the situation was different, if there was absolutely no way for Ukraine to win this, you know what I mean? If there was like legitimately no way out, I'd be talking about that. I'm not delusional. That is not the case right now. That is not the case. It could be argued that one of the strongest most aggressive, most successful militaries on planet Earth is the Ukrainian military right now. If you're like a military guy, seeing these guys getting starved for ammunition and lack of leadership, losing because of lack of leadership, must be incredibly frustrating, because this is a winning military. This is a rocket ship that goes straight to the fucking moon. All you need is fuel. Give up. Oh, wouldn't it be better to give up? That'd be human, right? That'd be what the human thing to do. Let the bullies win. You know, it's like when you see a bully start attacking another guy, and you're like, oh, everyone stop fighting. Both sides. How about you go after the aggressor? How about, instead of trying to, oh, stop. The fighting makes me uncomfortable. I don't like to see it. I don't care who started it. I don't care any of that. I just don't like to see people fight. The context is important, especially when it comes to when an army invades your country, dog. Yeah, female eunuchs. Sometimes it works out that way. And sometimes it's not fair. Right? You know, it's a situation at school is a little different than one country invading another, but hopefully we get the connection there.
I started running one way, my colleague ran the other way. Ukrainian emergency services have been searching
100%.
through the rubble for signs
100%.
of life. No respite for those living this reality. Francis Reed, BBC News.
I mean, somebody kicking down my front door, someone bombing my family, I'm fighting back. Okay, and you're telling me, oh, well, you know, if you cared about human rights, you wouldn't fight back. I'm bitch slapping you, dude. Right? So I empathize with the Ukrainian people 100%. I put myself in their shoes and I say 100% I'd support resistance.
And we can speak now to our Kyiv correspondent, James Waterhouse. James, good to have you with us. Are we any clearer as to understanding what Ukraine's aim here is in this surprise incursion?
I think if you look at the pictures you've just seen, I think that reflects what Ukraine was after in the short term, at least. Russia is...
Strategy member, we debate all the time on this fucking channel, but this is not a debate bro channel. I think that's what you're trying to say. But we are constantly fucking debating, slowing down the stream to have discussions about what's right and what's wrong. Am I wrong about that? We're debating all the time, dog. Am I wrong? You motherfuckers in the chat are constantly arguing with me. I'm constantly having to defend my points and like back it up with evidence, and you know, like, oh, I don't know about that. Oh, okay, well, let's look at, you got some evidence, you post some evidence, I look at it. We're debating all the time in this chat, right? Yeah, but I'm not a debate bro. That shit is a complete waste of fucking time. It's entertainment. It's entertainment. Yeah, exactly, Davey, exactly. Yeah, so I know what you're trying to say, strategy, but I just wanted to make clear, right? Because debate is essential. I want real debate, dude. You know, if I want to debate somebody, I want there to be a moderator and a fact checker. Is that too much to ask? Really? I just have to sit there like a fucking seal and let this bad actor gish gallop his way to a fucking supposed victory? Oh, you got owned, bro. Oh, you got owned. Immigration bad, bro. What a waste of time. Yeah, that's why the chat's, yes, exactly. Y'all are regulators. You got to regulate, because the bad actors are so rife. You know, you got these ignorant, you got these ignorant, that's hilarious. You got these useful idiots. Right? They're bad enough. Right? It's just they don't get it. They don't want to get it. They got the wrong idea. They're not changing their mind. They're useful idiots. But it's the bad actors. 88's my birthday. 88's my birthday, dude. 88's my birthday, bro. Right? Anyway.
Is putting more and more resources into trying to contain this offensive. We've seen a lot of men and machinery moved in the direction of Kursk and neighbouring regions along the border as Ukrainian forces seemingly take more and more territory. And they've even been frustrated in that endeavour.
Yeah, quick double
with
tap.
one convoy certainly
I don't understand
destroyed.
it.
And now
I don't
we
understand
have
it.
What's being described as a counter-terror operation.
I don't exactly agree with peace through strength, I guess, right? Because that's a great way to justify the current American military-industrial complex's entire geopolitical dogma, right? Yeah, that's what they try to say is the justification for their aggression. I don't necessarily agree with peace through strength, but I don't agree with, you know, like I said before, letting bullies walk all over you. It's absurd. It's absurd to not respond to this.
Terrorism operation by the Kremlin, which gives powers for cars to be searched, for phone tapping, for vehicles, the movement of vehicles
exactly.
and people
Strategy
to
member.
be
Best
extremely limited. This is something
Twitch.
Russia is having to take seriously.
Without question.
And I think for Ukraine, the hope is that it will relieve pressure on the front lines on its own territory, where it is Russia
I don't remember the person, Davey. I kind of vaguely remember who you're talking about, though.
Continuing to advance. It's important not to understate how significant this week has been, because this has been a war, certainly for Ukraine, of grueling familiarity. And here we've had this sort of strange inversion where you have the sight of Russian civilians reacting with fear and anger in some cases and leaving their homes. This is something that we see
There wasn't a
across
body
Ukraine.
under that one. There's been a lot of nasty, nasty drone footage I've seen on Twitter lately, dude. I mean, it used to be really rare to see, even in like the World War II footage, like you see a lot of dead bodies, but you would rarely see somebody shot and bleed out and then like have their last breath and die right there in front of the camera, you know, like the whole thing. And now that because of drones, right, they go low, drop the bomb, back up, guy gets blown up, then the drone slowly goes back in, and you see every agonizing second of these fucking guys. And it's like, it's commonplace now, man. I don't even know how to, it gives me shivers. It's just like how that, the violence has always been there, but it's part of my feed. It's part of my algorithm. You know, I'm like scrolling through and it's like, it's part of my daily life. And I know that I'm doing that to myself. I could ban it. I choose not to, all that, etc. But it's just like such visceral violence. Casually part of your social media algorithm. It's it really is wild.
Continually, and it really has sort of shaken things up in that respect.
Yeah,
Ukraine
they're showing the
stakes, and in this war of territory, where Russia often talks about wanting Ukraine to concede land in exchange for peace. Well, now Ukraine controls a chunk of Russian territory. It really is a high stakes move. And it could.
And that, you know, the desensitization is very real, which is why I'm always trying to, like, you know, even if they feel arbitrary, but like checking it, you know, like trying not to use dehumanizing terms, right? It's just like, even though it just seems like futile, why not embrace it? But no, it's like we gotta keep checking ourselves. These are human beings. We got to remember why we're doing this. And I beg and plead. I swear to God, if there was anything I could do on planet Earth to convince the Russian government, the Russian military, or the Russian people that this is a slaughter of epic proportions, and I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy, getting your face inverted from a grenade, you know, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And if there was anything I could do in my power to prevent it, to stop it, you know, like instantly, I would do it, right? But logically in my head, the only way to stop this is to resist it, and to resist it aggressively. You know, any territorial gain will be seen as a massive victory for this strategy. Crimea, even if it's Crimea. He'd be like, yep, it was worth it. 500,000, 1 million, 2 million deaths, however many Russians are dead at the end of this. Yep, it was worth it. Yep, we got Crimea. It was worth it. We put up statues all over Crimea to honor the dead. Totally worth it. You know, that's the lesson that's going to be learned. And not just Putin, but the Russian government in general. They do little calculations. Okay, well, you know, it's going to cost us about 1.2 million to take the rest of Belarus or the rest of Moldova. You know, okay, that one might be 2 million. Okay, we'll get those lined up. Right? They'll just change their calculations. Yep. If we enter a war of attrition with the West and we calculate it just like, you know, if we use numbers similar to the Ukraine one, after the West capitulated after 6 years, they just ran out of steam and stopped funding Ukraine. All right, we got to ride around that time. Okay, that's how much it's gonna, right? They just start recalculating. This is how we get our victory. This is how we expand the Russian Empire. And because that is the goal, man. It sounds crazy. It sounds like Dr. Evil shit. But no, does anyone disagree that Putin's goal is to expand the Russian Empire? Does anyone believe this buffer zone bananas nonsense?
You know, we are still talking about Ukrainian forces that are overstretched. So it's been an extraordinary few days.
It has indeed. Briefly, if you don't mind, you were just mentioning there how high stakes all of this is. Do we have any kind of intelligence as to understanding whether Ukraine can continue this incursion in Russia whilst also trying to hold the front lines in its own country?
We don't. I mean, at the moment, the colonels and generals and senior officers are being incredibly tight-lipped about this operation. But what we understand, what we can glean from the front lines is that the issue of military aid.
Yeah, okay, I'm reading everyone's chat. Yeah, Woke Patriot, yep. You know, and yeah, I'm reading everyone else's stuff here.
After political disagreements among the West, that's partially been resolved. Equipment is arriving on the front line, but Ukraine is grappling with its own.
Put me to sleep. Let's go ahead and take a look at this link from the Washington Post. Ukraine appears to expand Russia's incursion. Oh, God damn it. I knew this was going to happen. Hold on 1 second. We're going to go to the Pirate Bay, download a torrent of this article. Ukraine appears to expand Russia incursion into morale boost for Kyiv. I was just joking, by the way. I know I was using those terms incorrectly. Kem Goblin over here. What? That's not what a torrent is. Wait, what are you talking about? Calm down. I know. Ukrainian forces have continued to push deeper into Russia, further signaling this operation wasn't a short raid, but a rather potential occupation. Hell yeah, boy. Hell yeah, boy. Woo. And watch, that Ukraine should do that. Ukraine should do a legit referendum. Do you want to join Ukraine? Ask, nicely ask people to vote. I don't really, give people food. Give people food for when they vote or something, right? You give them like a little care package when they vote. Record turnout for the first time in Kursk history. But I question whether Putin wants to restore USSR borders. Give them 3 potatoes. Yeah, Lenny, good news. The F-16s are there. We've had Zelensky do a speech in front of them. We're not certain if the F-16s are being used. We only have anecdotal evidence. But the F-16s are there. They got them. Okay, interesting stuff. Thank you for this link. Who gave me this link? Strategy member. Thank you very much. Ukraine's surprise invasion of Russia stretched into the 5th day Saturday, and what analysts and Western officials said increasingly looked like a prolonged operation to divert Russian forces, raising questions about Kyiv's ultimate aim as its forces push deeper into Russia's Kursk region. All right, so there you have it, folks. Not just a stoned idiot on Twitch here, but actual people who write newspaper articles. Isabel Kirshduyan and Anastasia Glokchikia. The move has turned the tables of this war on Moscow, which invaded Ukraine more than 2 years ago and has been a morale boost for Ukrainian forces after Russia previously gained the strategic initiative on the battlefield. It can only be used as leverage in potential future negotiations with Moscow to end the fighting, analysts said. Quote, it's not a raid. This is something different, said Andriy Zagrondnik. Ukrainians, maybe Russia should take you guys over and just give everyone Steve and Greg names. Everyone's Steve and Greg. I can't say your names. They're hard. Zagrogdanik, former defense minister and chairman of Ukraine's Center for Defense Strategies, an independent think tank, quote, it's not a question about staying there forever or for a long time. It's an issue of trying to stretch out their forces. Exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about. He added, I doubt that Ukrainian leadership has these plans to occupy Russian territory and to hold it indefinitely. Exactly. It's pronounced just like it's spelled. I'm not a smart person. Things should be made easier for me. Don't clip that. So there it is. Exactly what I was talking about, right? Like the idea, how long can we stick this out? Let's turn this into, that is one funky name. No, you're not. But no, how long can we turn Kursk into Bakhmut? Can we pull Russian forces away from critical areas in the Ukrainian front line? And my God, you would hope that if that's the case, that the Ukrainian military's got a little something in their pocket to take advantage of that situation. Because that would truly be the chef's kiss, right? Russia has no choice. Pull away from somewhere. Ukraine immediately capitalizes. Takes back a nice chunk of Ukrainian territory, right? Oh. Let's see it happen. So this is what I was talking about. This is a link, I believe, from Chem Goblin. Maybe. But thank you all the same for everyone who contributes in the Discord. You know who you are. Thank you. Russia tortures over 95% of Ukrainian POWs, says the UN Monitor. Do not post. Okay. It was me. So this number, it's not a Ukrainian number. It's a UN number. 95% tortured, starved, sexually, we saw an interview recently with a female Ukrainian soldier who was traded in the POW exchange. And it's just like, she probably doesn't want to get into it, right? I knew he'd clip it. I knew he would. Hold on a second. A smart person. Things should be made easier for me. Okay. I was born in America, okay? It's my American right for everything else to get stupider because I refuse to get smarter, okay? That's why I pay my taxes. UN official in charge of the human rights monitoring mission in Ukraine described Russian torture of Ukrainian prisoners or POWs as, quote, the worst she has seen in her 20-year career. Oh, give up. Just give up. If you care about human rights, you'd give up. Zelensky's the real monster. And can you believe how badly NATO treated Russia? I mean, basically, this is justified. I'm not saying that it's justified. I would never admit that that's the argument that I'm making. I would never admit that that's the argument that I'm making. But it's basically justified if you think about how bad NATO treated Russia. Meanwhile, Russian POWs looking rosy, chubby cheeked, buttholes all secure, haven't been raped, right? Another clip. I can't watch every one of these. I was born in America, okay? It's my American right. Yes. For everything else to get stupider because I refuse to get smarter. Yes. Because I'm proud to be an American. Because at least I know I'm free. Except for all the rights that they want to take away from me. So no, this is disgusting. And once again, this is, you know, if I let that bad actor from Ireland stick around, do we think this evidence would sway him? And you know, oh, well, that's really bad. Both sides. Or do we think that's the direction? Oh, well, both sides. I heard it. I heard one time in, you know, what is it? Donbass. I heard, you know, Donbass, Ukraine killed Russian civilians. And so it's both sides. It's both sides. Yeah, Lee Greenwood. That's his one song. It's a good one. You only need one. You only need one. But do we think this evidence would have swayed Mr. I care about human rights? Oh, I'm making this argument for human rights purposes. Should I unban him? Should I unban him? So he can give us his opinion? Is he still here? That Russian guy is still here. What was his name? Started with a B. I think he's gone. No, he's gone. Fuck him. I guess I should let these guys stick around a little bit longer. They just piss me off so much, you know? They piss me the fuck off. But I guess I shouldn't ban them so quickly. The situation in the Kursk Oblast encourages residents to join the fight and destroy the Russian army. Look, I mean, more power to them, but the Russian government doesn't fuck around. He made a new account. It's hard to tell the difference. You know, it's hard to tell if they're even different people because, like, the opinions are so rote. They're so, like, generic. Anyway. But look, these guys, I guess their heart's in the right place. They're definitely smart enough to be wearing masks, but Russia will still track their ass down. Great point, quick double tap. Kursk region resistance is on the line. Interesting behavior, though. Is there any videos of Ukrainians doing this, even during the invasion? Because I know there were some people, you know, some Ukrainians that were like, couldn't really give a shit if it was happening or not. But were there like, you know, like, were there Ukrainians that were like, oh, yeah, we're the hidden Z army. We're joining the Z occupation. Was that happening in Ukraine? Because this is really interesting to me. You know, Ukraine temporarily occupies this region for, you know, a couple weeks, maybe. Who knows? And these dudes are like, oh, yeah, finally. Oh, thank God. You know, we can have a political opinion now. We got to be careful about it, though.
Также обращаемся к нашей армии. Ребята, вам здесь
they're Georgians, okay.
У нас никогда не было проблем с украинцами. У нас никто никогда
не one's ever fired us before you got here.
Вы приехали из своих теплых мирных
warm, peaceful homes.
Вы здесь за бабки, потому что нихуя не хотите, не умеете делать у себя дома. Уебывайте нахуй с Курской области. Вас здесь никто не ждет. Также хотим поблагодарить наших друзей из украинского ССУ.
So that, I thought he was. For a second there, I thought he was talking to the Ukrainian military. Is he saying that to the Russian military? Get the fuck out.
Которое мы используем по назначению. Ребята, кто из Курска?
Yeah, Mitsu, I remember that. Yeah, that's how. How did we? What was that?
Opera.org.ua. Просто укажите, что вы к нам.
That was the one city. Kherson, yeah, thank you, Chem Goblin. You know exactly what I was thinking of. That was the one city that Russia was able to successfully take because the mayor was corrupt, right? And he basically let the army in. A lot of partisans, yeah. Streets over there are definitely going to get in this fight. Yeah, dude. They're hungry. They're hungry for this. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, living under... welcome back, Evan. Living under the Russian government must feel stifling. Must feel totally stifling. So I could see this and be like, yeah, hell yeah, let's fuck shit up. Let's get it, boys. So this video is bananas. Okay, this video is something else, dog. All right, let me get some music going here for this one. So these guys, No, that's DMCA. So this first one, you know, just a direct hit. This one's wild. No, not this one. Okay, no, not this one. Is it this one? No, not this one either. Nope. Okay, after this. Yeah. So we just see the aftermath of that one. So look at this. Okay, so this is wild, right? These guys do evasive maneuvers. He's got you like they're and if you look really closely, they're like their doors are open. They're desperately trying to slow down and get out of the vehicle, and they're very smart for doing that. It's interesting to see the evasive maneuvers will work, right? So he's desperately trying to like, but not flip over, right? Causes the drone to miss, comes around for a second pass. These guys are already diving in the ditch. Wow, dude. Wild. Really, totally wild shit. Could you imagine? And this is how expensive is this drone? We saw the drone factory, right? We saw the drone factory. $500. $500. Right? We got Darwin. It's probably Darwin down in some bunker somewhere. Has to whip around. These guys diving. Ah, get the hell out of here. Direct hit. There it is. And that's the result. You know, that's the result. Smart move. Who knows? I don't know if those guys are still there. Are these guys still in the ditch? You're totally vulnerable to the follow-up. They might have been smoked right there with follow-up drones. Let those people go. The vehicle's the main target. Leave them without weapons. They might surrender. If they don't drop their weapon, raise their hand, they're a legitimate target strategy member. That's fucking war. Do we think Russia, offers the same? I agree with you, but until the hands are up, the weapon is thrown away, the hands are up, and you're walking towards enemy lines in a surrender posture, you're still fair game. But I have footage. Of a Ukrainian drone operator being merciful to a soldier that is clearly surrendering. Question is, why aren't those masked folks from the previous video joining FORL or RCV? I mean, who knows? It's risky, Mitsu. I agree with you. They should, if you're going to go this far, you might as well just join the Ukrainian military, right? I think that's what you're implying with those terms. Videos of Ukrainian soldiers in Russia's Sudza appears online. Sudza appears online. No official comment. So this was geolocated. I saw a military analyst show several other tweets to prove that they were at this location. We don't have a lot of information. Things are still kind of, very dynamic. So we don't have a lot of information about where exactly the Ukrainian military is, how they're expanding. Hey, Blue Brother, once again, thank you so much. And hey, I do appreciate your comments on banning people with numbers in their name. I appreciate that, but I hope you appreciate that I have to be careful about crypto fascists. So thank you again for coming in. They were promoting, it's a big organization, I feel like. Oh, okay, cool. Good. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, these organizations, they have to exist, these underground, Russian political organizations that are against Putin for various reasons. They have to exist. You see the video of the drone chasing the Russians through the woods? No, I haven't seen that one, Arbitoire. Is it too bloody? Can I not show it? I'll put it in the Discord if I can't show it. So I was literally just talking about this clip. Here, we see an injured Russian surrendering in a surrender posture. I don't think he can run. I don't think he can move. I think if you see, there's like a wound on his right leg. He's down. And he's giving away. He's actually pointing to his fellow soldiers, which, I mean, that's, yep. He's literally praying. Look, he's hit though. He's hit right here. There's some gore. There's definitely a little blood here. Not gore, but blood, I mean. But he's like, fellow, that's how you surrender, Oh, okay. I'm done fighting. The rest of my troops are over there. I'm giving you credible military information. And unfortunately, I'm not gonna cherry coat things here. Sometimes the Ukrainian military will still kill individuals that are doing this. I haven't seen any video evidence of that, but that's, they don't. It's not like they released that footage to the press, right? The Ukrainian military picks and chooses the footage that it puts out, right? It's not just anything goes. So they'll show this video, say, hey, aren't we merciful? Look at this. We're not dropping a grenade on this guy. We're letting this guy surrender. But I'm certain there's dozens of videos of Ukrainian drone operators. It's like, no, we're not going to be able to rescue you. We're finishing you off. We're killing you. This guy might have been killed later. We don't know. So I just want to make that clear. This is not a perfect, Ukrainian military is not perfect. I think he is symbolizing a please go there. I need help, just please. He's begging for his life, and well, according to the Twitter folks, which could be fake information. This action right here, he was pointing towards other Russian soldiers. This is a pretty clear gesture right here. It's risky before the incursion for sure. Now it's as easy as contacting Ukrainian soldiers, though they could be on the other side of the oblast, I guess. You talking about getting footage? I mean, praying is more of a please. Okay, strategy. Okay. I think I agree with you. I agree with that. All right, so I just had a few of these, we looked at DW, we looked at the BBC. Let's go ahead and see how France 24 is covering this.
Well, first off, what it tells us is the level of chaos that this surprise incursion
Why is he giving himself a high five? Have a grenade.
Created in Moscow. Now, when Moscow announces those counter-terrorism operation, it means that authorities will have extended powers, decision powers, and also power, for example, to evacuate tens of thousands of people. You've mentioned this figure of 76,000 civilians being evacuated from the front line. We have to imagine what it means in terms of logistics as well, but also how chaotic and how confusing this must be on the Russian side, because it is the first time that the Russo-Ukrainian war is coming within Russian territory. Yeah. So that says a lot.
Hey, look, does it suck? Yeah, does it suck? It totally sucks. These poor kids. Kids are eternally innocent no matter what the situation is, right? So I don't like to see it. I prefer to see this than dead kids at a supermarket, which is how Russia retaliated. Ukraine went in and attacked soldiers, military targets, and didn't rake civilian vehicles with automatic weapon fire. So these people get to live. These people get to continue on. There's a lot of Ukrainians that don't.
About how unprepared Russia was for those incursions that took everybody by surprise, not just Russia, but also international observers, commentators. Nobody was expecting that move from Ukraine. It's the fifth day of fighting, and it goes on. According to the Institute for the Study of War, which is an international think tank based in Washington, this fighting continuing up to 25 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border within the Russian territory, with Russia drawing in reserve troops as well to try and respond to those incursions. We had talked about the strategies, the possible strategies.
Wow, that's an interesting shirt. That's the Scream, except there's a cat. It's a kid. It's a kitty.
Incursions. We had talked about the
very interesting shirt from this Russian person here.
Strategies, the possible strategies.
And a New York cap. Weird, dog. Weird.
By Kyiv, which were to divert some attention from the front line and also to maybe have some bargaining power if it manages to retain those territories, should negotiations come between the two countries at some stage.
And Emmanuel, right now you are joining us from Kramatorsk in Donetsk. That is the oblast, the region which has experienced that blast on a shopping center that was just yesterday. It killed several people. Just tell us about the situation on the front lines for Ukraine, because as much as they're going into Kursk, they still have to defend their own sovereign territory from the Russian invasion.
Absolutely. And to give you an idea, you've mentioned I was in Kramatorsk this morning, early in the morning, towards 6 a.m. Kramatorsk was shelled. It woke everyone up this morning. Several explosions. One person died because a critical infrastructure was hit, a power station. Most likely, several people were injured last night in Konstantinivka, which is just half an hour's drive away from where I am. And where I went yesterday.
Give up. I mean, you don't want Putin to do this again, do you? Oh, we should be scared.
Today to witness 14 people died, 43 people were injured when a supermarket and a post office were hit by a Russian missile. And
he could have hit anything. He could have chosen to hit anything. And the Russian military, the Russian government approved it, and the Russian military said, no, hit this civilian target when it's filled with civilians. I'm telling you, it's all about the sugar. Might be onto something.
Just this afternoon, I was going through Liman when it was also bombed by Russia. You could see columns of dark smoke. So the war is very much a daily reality for Ukrainians who have been bearing the brunt of this war, waged by Moscow. And here too, you have evacuations. Yesterday, I was reporting on evacuations taking place in the Pokrovsk direction. That is one of the hotspots of the front line there. Also, thousands of people, children as well, are fleeing the approaching.
This isn't food production, dude. This is the final leg. This is about killing human beings. If you want to go after food production, then obviously you'd go after a grain silo or something like that, some kind of transportation, some collection of the food. You don't go after a fucking grocery store.
The advances of the Russian troops, and their civilians at least cannot feel yet any effect that those Kursk incursions may have on this front line.
Yeah, just-in-time distribution. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for, just-in-time distribution. You're not going to go after that final leg of the logistics chain. You're going to go a little bit further in, right? Russia sending in tanks to try and deal with Ukraine's incursion. Keep trying, baby. Keep sending them in. We'll blow them up. Keep coming. Keep them coming, Daddy-O. Keep them coming, Daddy-O. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Russia, you have no choice. Just, annihilate Kursk. Annihilate it. Just do to Kursk like what you did to every other frontline Ukrainian city. Do it. They're kind of in a rock and a hard place, right? Because they're going to try to avoid that. They really don't want to do that. But their military doctrine kind of depends on them doing that. So Ukraine, that's another opportunity for Ukraine to kind of take advantage. But yeah, I doubt Kursk is the only place in Russia where sugar is processed. Yeah, this is stupid. The sugar idea is dumb. Motherfucker talking about sugar. No more sweets. Get the sugar. They won't know what hit them. Mind you, this is Russia's news media posting the video at first. Yeah, it looked pretty... didn't give me a lot of information. So I just wanted to, preemptively, show you some Oscar bait, for the upcoming Oscars here. She's working really hard, up-and-coming actress, really showing us her range. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Just for the consideration of the Academy, let's go ahead and have a look.
Мы, жители Курской области, не понимаем, почему вы нас убиваете, бандеровцы. Вот мы вас освобождаем. У вас
Ooh, voice is a little shrill.
СВО, а вы к нам пришли с войной. Мы не понимаем, за что нас.
I don't understand.
Мы об этом у вас не просили.
We didn't ask you to do this. We didn't ask you to do this. I mean, Ukraine absolutely asked for it, right? I mean, begging for it. But we didn't ask for this.
Еще и кричите, москаляку на иляку. Вот мы стреляем только по стратегических объектах, а вы бомбите же.
Wow. Unironic.
Не просили, еще и кричите.
No. Well, hold on.
Вот мы стреляем.
We only shoot at strategic objects. It's unbelievable. Straight face. This is a total performance. This isn't even real tears. This is it. This is all she's got. Just the two, huh? A little extra mascara, a little eyedropper. There we go. Good to go.
Только по стратегических объектах, а вы бомбите жилые дома, больницы, уничтожаете русский народ.
You do all the bad things, not us.
И нас не
You do all the bad
вообще, мы не в
things.
политике.
Can someone point to me a single time Ukraine bombed a hospital in Russia? Could someone go ahead and link that article for me? Show me even a single time. Poor thing. Well, hopefully the Academy sees this. It was half-hearted. Wasn't very good. Probably won't get that Oscar. I'm rooting for her. Not really. So here's the aftermath of Russia, who only bombs strategic targets. So I guess this is a strategic target right here, according to Miss Mascara. You know, I'm sure Jackson Hinkle is, retweeting that woman. Oh, can you believe it? Ukraine's so bad. Can you believe it? Ukraine's so bad. Cheap dollar store mascara. It did look cheap. It was very clumpy. I mean, would a military vehicle repair station count as a hospital? Yep. There you go. Proof. Yep. Same thing. Wasn't Hinkle arrested in Venezuela? One can only hope. One can only hope. But I didn't hear about that. No. Just to the east of Rylisk, Kursk region, a Russian column has been eliminated. So we've I don't know if I've shown this specific clip. This seems to be like right after it happened. Civilians driving up to the aftermath. Yeah, well, I guess you're not going to the Russian knockoff of Applebee's tonight there, Ivan. Back it up, buddy. Whoops. Maybe we'll go to the Russian knockoff version of Denny's instead. Yeah, that's a good idea. Excellent stuff. So we've basically, we got some more footage here, so let's go ahead and watch this. This is pretty intense stuff, but it has been censored.
At least 10 people were killed, dozens more were injured when officials say a Russian missile strike hit a shopping center in Ukraine. The blast occurred in the residential area of a town in the eastern Donetsk region. The strike caused a fire that
Mick Dimitriev's? Yeah, I love Mick Dimitriev's.
Residential houses, shops, and more than a dozen cars were also damaged in
the
attack.
I get the Mick Fishy.
Russia has accused Ukraine this week of launching a cross-border assault in Russia's Kursk region.
Damn, Jesus. I mean, these guys are true heroes. The reason they're not shirtless because they're having a great time. This is summer vacation. They're shirtless because they're right next to intense heat, and they're doing everything they can to help the fire department, get this fire out before it spreads. I don't think it's going to spread any further, though. It looks like it's the only building in there, but absolute heroes here, civilian volunteers jumping in. And yeah, they're not shirtless because they're having a good time, folks.
In Russia's Kursk region, the Kyiv military has not yet commented on that operation.
Welcome back, Doppler. And here they are, body bag. Right. Only strategic targets. I can't believe it. We only strike strategic targets. Yeah. Yeah, because it's a piece of ordnance that was designed to kill to destroy military targets, right? So the amount of damage it's going to do to a fucking supermarket is epic. 17. Jesus Christ. There they are. All the fucking body bags. Essential military targets, according to Russia. Innocent people. Buying groceries. Buying groceries. Oh, but we should give up. Oh, well, I saw a speech from an Irish parliamentary member, and he said it was the smart thing to do is just to give up. Zelensky's the real monster. NATO provoked it. And nothing penetrates that shield, man. How many atrocities have I shown just today? 95% torture rate, according to the UN. Grocery store getting blown to fuck. 17 people at least. Body bags getting pulled out. Oh, well, we got to give up. Is anyone else sick and tired of it? Every fucking stream, too, man. Every stream is at least one. Oh, well, really, the smart thing to do is to give up, right? That's what I heard from Jackson Hinkle. So these fucking goofballs over here, there's cardio-rights. Never say that correctly. So apparently on pro-Russia social media, this is what it looks like with absurd, ridiculous theatrics of these tough, gruff-looking soldier men shooting up bushes and trees like they're in a gunfight, like they're super badass. Is this what's happening? Carter Revite. So here we have Mega Badass shooting up some bushes. Yeah, Allah Akbar. Take that, bushes. They won't come back ever. Yeah, I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless. This is the American education system writ large. Large and in charge. He got him. Allah Akbar, dog. Look at this. 1,000% a Chechen. Did they add the music or did someone else add the music? It's like Final Fantasy battle music. Go get him, boys. Yeah, we're running to the front lines to get smoked by a drone. 4 seconds to putting our boots down on the ground. Yeah, go get him. Are you fucking with me? You are not serious. This is misinformation. This has got to be from a different war, from a different conflict. This is some guy fucking around in his backyard. This is not a representative of the Chechen military, the Russian military. No, this isn't. This is what the fuck? It's misinformation. That's not real. Holy shit, guys. Watch out. Man, if I saw that as a Ukrainian soldier, I'd be pooping my pants in my trench, man. I tell you, he's trying to curve the bullets like in Wanted, dude. He's trying to curve them, just getting them out of the gun faster. It's a military strategy. Okay, you haven't seen this advanced military training. You can get the bullets out faster if you shake the gun. You know, and you kill more people if you spin the gun around. You can kill more people. Shitting pants from laughter. So this is 1 day ago from Canada. We don't need it. We've seen enough. So I wanted to show this here. Russian railway networks facing imminent collapse. So, you know, we've heard this kind of shit before, but, you know, and I was reporting earlier on the Russian economy. Not looking so great. They went from number 8 to number 11, I believe, in global economies. Right, so sanctions might be working a little bit. Something might be happening here. Harmony 7-Eleven. Thank you, Harmony. The state-owned Russian railway faces quote-unquote imminent collapse amid a shortage of locomotives, driven by Western-imposed sanctions imposed over the war in Ukraine, a Russian Telegram channel has reported. The sanctions have contributed to a ball bearing shortage in Russia, which has affected locomotive maintenance in the country. This has led to a rise in malfunctions on the network's trains and an increase in the number of vehicles being suspended. Russian newspaper... Okay, we're not going to embarrass myself. Oh, no, is it? I can say this. Russian newspapers Vendomosti and Commiserant reported in February and March this year. So I don't know if this is in this article. I'm not going to bother to read it any further. Hey, free Palestine 100%. You know that. You know that. So I don't know if they are reporting in this article. Like I said, I'm too lazy to read the whole thing. But we've also seen straight up sabotage. We've seen Russians, maybe Georgians, right? But we've seen people inside Russia sabotaging these railroad stations. And all I can say is, you know, that's how you do it, boys. Keep it up. Russian underground, fucking up Russian infrastructure from inside Russia. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. So on top of the sabotage, we're also seeing Russian rail, you know, the ball bearing shortage, other probably not just ball bearings, but ball bearings being a big one, slowing down the, you know, their ability to transport goods. Very good. Yeah, Doppler. Like we should be cautious because Russia is working very hard with India, with China, with other partners. Obviously in Africa, they're all over Africa, pulling as much resource out of Africa as possible. So you know, let's not get too comfortable here. With that said, you know, this is a sign of good news. Could be good news. Tearing shit up, boy. Woo! Russian underground. Hey, you look, man. You can't vote your way out of this problem in Russia. You can't march because your ass is getting thrown in the gulag. You can be effective with sabotage, though. You know, burning recruitment centers, sabotaging railway networks, right? You can absolutely be effective with subterfuge, right? And I totally support that within Russia. I wanted to show this here because it looks like this Russian fella, you know, got exactly what he was looking for. He got that toilet, you know, that shiny, fancy toilet seat. I guess this is a Russian toilet seat, but, you know, it's good enough. Wasn't able to snag one out of Ukraine, but, you know, he's going to take one home. Now, I think technically this is a war crime. I think technically this is Ukraine committing a war crime. I think once prisoners have been captured, you're not allowed to humiliate them in this manner. But you know what? I'm just going to, after seeing the grocery store massacre today, I'm just going to go ahead and give the Ukrainian military a little break, huh? I'm just, you know, go ahead and call me biased all day. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give them a fucking break. After 17 plus people killed at a grocery store because Russian military got its fucking feelings hurt. These motherfuckers are lucky to be alive. This motherfucker's lucky to be a toilet seat. This motherfucker's lucky to be a fucking flower pot. Whatever the fuck's on his head. I don't even know what the fuck's on his head, dude. Some pipe. Balance this shit. I think technically, though, that is a war crime. Here's something that is definitely technically not a war crime, and it's something that's actually very rare. You would think it'd happen more often, but it really is quite rare. 1v1 tank duel, and you know it. You know who wins it. You know who wins this. So we got a Russian over here taking a position, a pretty good position, gotta say. You know, he's got a smart position. He's got a direction to back out. He's got a little peek hole. He's got a good angle there. Doesn't look too bad to me. Looks like a pretty good position. And then we have a Ukrainian over here. You know, it's two different camera angles, so it's a little disorienting. So that's an M90, huh? So we have a Ukrainian over here fighting, and he's got a pretty decent position as well. I assume he's using these buildings over here for cover, but it's kind of a different angle, so it's kind of confusing. So let's see how this goes down. 1v1 fucking tank battle, dude. You love it, man. There's Russia getting two shots off. Oof. Oof. Yeah, Chem Goblin. I was in a hurry, so I literally just filled anything I could find. Sorry, I know. I don't like to drink out of plastic. I'm literally drinking out of two plastic. Well, I'm drinking out of plastic, out of glass. This is a glass straw. I know. Ooh. But no, back to the clip. Yeah, fucking oof, dude. Another big dub for Ukraine, baby. The big dub for Ukraine. Pop, dude. Pop. Pop. Oh. Nasty. And the Russian had two shots. The Russian had two opportunities, at least two. Might have even been hit. No. Okay, so the Ukrainian does fire. So we don't know the timing on this. There could have been other shots that we're not seeing here, you know, because this is edited. So he gets one shot off. So that's a Ukrainian shooting. So he misses that. So the Ukrainian misses the first one. Russian sends another volley, misses. Ukrainians line up. So this is kind of edited timing wise. This is different because the Ukrainian is shooting once while approaching. And then when we pick up here, this is still like basically the same clip. The second shot lines it up, and that's the one that hits. Fucking nice. Fucking nice. Yeah, actually, we have a range of straws, Chem Goblin. We have a silicone straw right here. This is a silicone straw. And of course, we have our glass straw, right? I have metal straws as well I like to use. Never mind, it goes boom from the back. That's just a well-placed shot. Yeah, let's get a close-up here, see if we can actually catch a frame of it going in. Not really, no. But yeah, that looks like direct hit, catastrophic explosion. Those guys are toast. You're not surviving that one. Ukraine with another dub. So I wanted to, I saw this, I was like, okay, cool, because I like this guy, Michael Clark, what's his nuts? Michael Clark, yeah, Professor Michael Clark. You know, he's, you know, mainstream military analyst, but you know, for the most part, he's got a pretty good take on things. So I kind of wanted to hear what he had to say about the situation. So let's take a quick look. Yeah, Chem Goblin, because it's cheap and because it benefits the oil industry is the short answer.
Okay, well, let's bring in security and defence analyst Professor Michael Clark, who joins me now. And what do we know about the latest fighting, Michael?
Yeah, well, Simon, it's extending. There's been ferocious fighting to the east of this pocket that the Ukrainians have opened up on the Russian side of the border. And there's fighting to the northwest of it at Koronivo. We know about that. And there seems to be a push, I mean, in the other direction, eastwards from this pocket at Plakovo. And so all the indications are that there's quite a lot of fighting going on as the Russians are moving forces from the Vovchansk area, which is a bit further to the east, and they're moving those forces westwards towards this pocket. So the Russian...
Dude, imagine Ukraine taking another chunk of Russia, right? They're pulling resources away from another border region. Ukraine just goes in and occupies it. This is what I'm talking about. If Ukraine had more forces, they could do stuff like that, but they're already shoestring, you know. They don't have that much to play around with like that. Hopefully they have enough, though, to take advantage and take a piece of Ukraine back. Take a big chunk of Ukraine back, right? But Russia is going to, of course, avoid taking anything from any frontline position, right? Because they obviously want to avoid Ukraine, you know, Ukraine strategy being a winning strategy, right? So
are trying to close in on the pocket, but they are not making any impression on it. And at the moment, the pocket is getting bigger. Now, we don't know how much bigger it might get. At the moment, it's really quite big. It's about 30-odd miles long, about 35 miles long.
Ceramics.
And it's about 14 miles deep at its deepest. Now, it's not even. It isn't that the Ukrainians control all of that territory, but the Russians aren't in that territory. Or if they are, they're having to fight and they are being captured. And if you look at it in terms of square meterage, somebody was working this out earlier on, and I double-checked it. It is true that about 530 square kilometers have been taken by the Ukrainians, and there's fighting going on in about half as much again. So the Ukrainians are very ambitious.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? That's really extraordinary, because over the last few years, we've discussed often when we're expecting a Ukrainian counteroffensive, sometimes it hasn't materialized in the spectacular fashion, perhaps, that we...
Well, she's talking like this happens over and over and over again. She's referencing the one that was previous when they were low on ammo, when they really didn't have, the full support of the U.S. government, and they were still trying to make something happen, for morale purposes. She's talking about, this usually happens this way. It's like, it's happened once, bitch. God.
Expected. This very much is that kind of counteroffensive, nice. and not just in the regions where they were fighting before, but right into Russia, where they completely didn't expect it.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, they've got, as I say, they've got the benefit not just of surprise, but of sheer astonishment. And you see those vehicles going past now on the VT.
Chem Goblin,
If you look at those vehicles, you can see they've got lots
Well, I appreciate it. We got another Lenny fan in the chat. Lenny #1, accidentswaitingtohappen.com. More Lenny. Hashtag more Lenny, folks. Make sure you're liking and subscribing.
Scrap metal on their sides. Now that shows you that they've been in combat already, because the soldiers always stick scrap metal on the sides of their vehicles as a guard against incoming missiles. It's what they do. It's the cope cages. They all improvise their vehicles. If those vehicles were coming out of store or from the reserves, they'd look a bit more new. But those vehicles that you can see on those low loaders, they've come from another combat area. So
that's a good point. That's totally a good point. If they were pulled out of the garage, they wouldn't have all the sheet metal and shit attached to them, right? So these are tanks that are getting moved already from different positions. That's great news.
Shows us that the Russians are transferring stuff, heavy metal, from one combat area to the next, which presumably is one of the things that the Ukrainians wanted to achieve, to make the Russians bring stuff away from the areas around Vovchansk where they're fighting, and particularly further south in the Donbass.
That's really interesting. And what does it mean about the landscape of this war, or special military operation, or as now he's calling it, a counter-terrorism offensive, President Putin? So what does this tell us about the landscape of this ongoing war? Still there 5 days in. Clearly they believe they've got enough military personnel and equipment to do this for now. And an incursion into Kursk. How does that work with the geography?
Well, it depends on how many troops the Ukrainians are prepared to put into this. I mean, we know that they've got elements of at least 3 brigades, good brigades, the 22nd Mechanized Infantry, the 88th Mechanized Infantry, and those are both competent brigades, and the 80th Air Assault Brigade. Now, they wouldn't commit quality troops and quality equipment unless they meant it, so they clearly mean it. And the other thing that's happened is that when you look at what else has gone in with those brigades, they've sent in engineering equipment, counter-mining equipment, air defenses, long-range mortars, multiple launch rockets.
No, they're there to hold it. They're going to dig in. They're digging in as we speak. They're going to make it as difficult as possible for Russia to uproot them. And what we've seen from the Russian military is that do they have enough energy for multiple Bakhmuts? Do they have enough resources and troops to dump those kind of resources consistently into 2 different locations? So they're going to, like I said, the Ukrainians are turning this into a Bakhmut, Kursk into a Bakhmut. What does that mean for other frontline locations? Russia won't be able to back them up in the way that they were normally. Think for that follow Faker.
So the Ukrainians are serious about this. They obviously intend to try to stay for a while. Now, one would guess they're going to dig in, and they're going to try to hold this pocket and dare the Russians to come and get them out of it. Now, the Russians cannot live with that. They must get them out of this pocket. I mean, Putin cannot live with the idea that part of his territory has been invaded. That's not happened since 1941. I mean, June 1941, when Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, that was the last time that Moscow had any of its territory invaded. It's happened again. So the Russians have got to eliminate this, and the Ukrainians, I think, must be calculating that they can make a fight of it, and that they can cost the Russians dearly in getting their territory back, and the Ukrainians will want to keep the way open so they can withdraw at some point in good order, they would hope.
And briefly, Michael, I'm wondering if this might also help in any potential future negotiations for territory and ceasefire.
Well, I don't think so, because the Ukrainians would have to
leave. Faker. Leave.
hold on to it while there are negotiations going on. And negotiations are not going to start this side of Christmas at the earliest. It'll be next year sometime. And I'd be amazed if the Ukrainians are still holding on to this territory next year.
So then what's the purpose of doing it?
They're trying to, I'm sure they're trying to, A, make a point, trying to impress the rest of the world, upset the Kremlin, show Russian civilians that this is not a counter-terrorist operation, this is a war, and persuade the Russians that if the Ukrainians have put quality troops there, the Russians have got to bring some of their quality troops to get them out, which means they will not be fighting with their quality troops in Chasiv Yar and Pokrovsk, where the Ukrainians are under such pressure. It's to make the Russians redeploy by giving something that Putin's got to worry about somewhere else.
That's right.
Interesting stuff, Professor.
That's right. So pretty much in line to exactly what I was talking about, but I'm glad a professional who actually reads books, is backing me up there. That's exactly what I was talking about. This isn't about holding it forever, but hey, if you can hold it long enough for it to be a bargaining chip in peace, well, that's a nice cherry on top. But it's really about, kind of like he said, showing the world. That was the one thing I wasn't adding, but that is true. Like, it's Ukraine showing the world, this is still happening, showing Russia that this is still happening. Yeah, I'm doing a couple things when I can. So this is very interesting. I need to read more. I just need more time. It's like I start to write stuff and it's trash and it's garbage, and I'm like, I don't know how to make it better. I don't, it's like I suck at this. But you just got to keep doing it. But it's like you have to keep doing something you're really, really bad at, and you have to do it a lot. Interesting footage right here, air-to-air combat, drone versus helicopter. Couple $100 drone versus a multi-million-dollar helicopter with all the fancy material, all the gizmos. And you can see it. You can see the drones entering the jamming bubble. When it gets close enough to the helicopter, it cuts out. But it doesn't matter. It's close enough to the helicopter. It explodes probably seconds after the camera gets fuzzy. Probably explodes right there. Plenty of shrapnel hitting a very fragile mechanism. Helicopters are very fragile. Doesn't take a lot. You can actually, if you're good, you can shoot down a lot of helicopters with like automatic rifle fire if they want to get that close, right? You can hit up the rotors and stuff. A decent explosive with a lot of shrapnel. That's all you need. Just drink a little whiskey and the writing will flow. That's a good point. Maybe I should become an alcoholic. My writing might improve if I become an alcoholic. That is a good point. Looks nice for camping. Yeah, I can't wait to go to Ukraine. That would be a good idea. Chem Goblin, we should do some camping, buddy. Yeah, perhaps after the war. But here we have, like I said, couple $100 drone. And it is interesting. There's jamming. There's definitely jamming happening here. But like I said before, the Ukrainians protected, hiking. But, man, I want to do some camping, bro. I want to light a fire. I want to eat some meat off the motherfucking fire. I want to light shit on fire. No. I want to sleep on the ground. No, I'm going to bring a cot. Bring a cot. Sleep off the ground. I want to do some camping. Don't. It's a myth. Eat veggies and exercise and practice. Oh, okay. I'm going to camp. That's good. That's good advice. I'm going to camp at all the Donetsk national parks. That's a good idea. But how much do we think this helicopter cost? So here we have one more. Drone versus helicopter. Or no, this is drone versus drone. Sorry. If I get better video quality, this is about as good as we get. 3 million, yeah. Do we have proof it's down? No, we don't. I'm just having fun. That's the Rust helicopter, the Russian one. Wow, drone versus drone. So this has already happened. This isn't a historical first, but God, this war is weird. This war is so weird, dude. I assume that's a Russian drone. This war is so weird. Very awkward. Awkward for the Russians. It's pretty embarrassing. So here is that video. I don't know if Lenny, if you're still here, but this was the video that I was referencing. You were talking about F-16s a little earlier. So we don't know if this is a sonic boom from an F-16 or something else, but this was heard in Kursk, I believe. Yeah, in the Kursk region. So it was some airplane dropping flares. Thank you, Lenny. It was some airplane dropping flares, and then you hear, you can see it dropping flares. So they think it's like explosives or... Yeah, boy! There's that sonic boom, baby. So it's way up. It's miles up there. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see America in its next military adventure or whatever, you know, whatever it decides, whatever Middle Eastern country it decides to invade, likely Iran. But it will be interesting to see how well the American military actually is able to fight against modern drone warfare. New update on Kursk and Russians being hypocrites. Okay, we'll take a look. Newvision.com, never heard of them. If they have been through Top Gun training, good man can take any plane down in the F6 in the old F-16. There's really no more dogfighting, is there? Russia launched this new operation to halt advancing Ukrainian troops. Ukrainian units stormed into Russia's western Kursk region on Tuesday morning in a shock attack. Yeah, we all know. Moscow Saturday mounted a counter-terror operation in 3 border regions. Trying to halt Ukraine's advance. Ukrainian units stormed into Russia's western Kursk region on Tuesday morning on a shock attack. Yeah. Troops have advanced several kilometers, and Russia's army has rushed in reserves. Yep, we know all this. Okay. I don't know if there's much new info there. Maybe I should have read more, but I'm lazy. Sorry. So this is great. We have Georgian soldiers in Kursk. Supposedly. It's hard to confirm. But according to this tweet, at least. Badasses. In Russian territory, behind enemy lines. You know, this is the real deal Holyfield. You know, they got the look on them too. They got like the zapped look, you know, like they're fucking looking around. They're in enemy territory. You know what I mean? Like they're in the shit. Yeah. No, this is the no fucking around brigade, right? So this guy right here, he either has some authority or he's a total clown. He's either running the whole show or he's a complete clown, and people are like, I don't know, man, I'm not really in the mood to be recorded right now. This guy right here has got that all over his face. Like, yeah, we're not having a fucking TikTok session right now, bro. So this guy's either the commanding officer or he's the clown of the whole operation. Badass is all the same, though, and absolutely putting their neck on the line. These guys are, you know, these guys are tough. Media guy, I think it's the media guy. When was this? When was this?
Ukraine.
I think this was just a
has
few
confirmed
hours ago.
it launched an overnight.
Yeah, we've seen all this info, old info. So this is interesting. You know, Chem Goblin was talking about this in the Discord, how like now all of a sudden the U.S. is cool with this. Like we're tiptoeing. Oh, F-16s. I don't know. Oh, missile ranges. Oh, we should be careful. And then the West puts out comments like this. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Are you concerned that Russia will escalate tensions over this attack?
So she's being asked if she's worried about Russia escalating after this incursion,
including with the U.S.
Right? Because that's right. That's what supposedly why we're all these restrictions. Right? We're so worried about escalating. Oh no, Ukraine did something that we didn't ask them to. We didn't know. Oh no, big panic mode. Right?
Anything like that?
No, because at the end of the day, Ukraine is fighting for its sovereign territory that its neighbor invaded. So if we want to...
Yeah, okay, so where the hell was this common sense when, you know, discussing missile ranges and all these other arbitrary restrictions on the Ukrainian military from the U.S. here? Now it's all good? Oh, well, it's Ukraine defending itself. We're not worried about escalation. You know, Putin should get out of Ukraine. Okay.
De-escalate tensions, as we've said from the beginning, the best way to do that is Putin can make that decision today to withdraw troops from Ukraine.
Yeah,
Ukraine
it's like the plan has changed, huh? Yeah, exactly.
It can to
no, and it's kind of like I said. This could either be a total massive boner for the Ukrainian military, a big fuck up, or an absolutely brilliant masterstroke that kind of forces the chess pieces to move. You know, everything's been kind of seized up. That war of attrition, that slow, elongated war of attrition, benefits Putin, and this is Zelensky kind of throwing a wrench into that machinery.
Continue to take back its sovereign
We'll see though, because the United States hasn't lifted the restrictions. There hasn't been any real leadership coming from Joe Biden. You know, good luck with that. Has Kamala Harris said anything really worth a damn? Not really.
And that's what we're seeing they're doing in this.
Yeah,
what you're referring to.
We want to avoid the boners so that we can get the master strokes. Chem Goblin.
We're going to continue to support Ukraine with the capabilities and
yada 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 yada. Restrict. Yeah. You're supporting them. Put the boots on the ground. There's a lot of hungry American Marines that would love to back up Ukrainian military. Right? So ask for volunteers. Guarantee you. If you ask for volunteers from the U.S. military, oh, let's go yesterday. We got a lot of boys ready to fight. Oh, what would Putin do? Oh, no, what would Putin do? He'd shit his pants is what he would do. He'd start talking about peace deals real quick is what he would do. Oh, no. Oh, he might escalate. What, you mean like drop a fucking bomb on a grocery store? How about throw some corpses down a well in Bucha? Oh, we got to be careful. Yeah, okay, buddy. So I don't have time for Dennis. I'm sorry. He's great, but I don't have time for him. So this is really quite a harrowing video. Prepare yourself, okay? Apparently, Russians will keep sex slaves captive in the front lines on these border regions. And this is the first time we've seen this. But this is Ukraine. You know, they caught them off guard. Ukraine was actually able to liberate some of these sex slaves from Russian captivity. So prepare yourself. This is crazy footage. But watch this. They were not ready for this. Wow. Amazing. They're free now. No longer having to be assaulted every day. Repeatedly. Time and time, over and over and over again by the Russian military. These ladies are safe now. Thank God. Go Ukraine. Wonderful. You're free now, ladies. It's over. He's saying the position is taken. Well, off camera, he was letting these girls know, you're free now. No one thinks that's funny. Fuck you. Fuck everybody. You guys suck. What am I, you fucking clown? It's just a ha-ha show? The ha-ha funny times? No one thinks I'm funny. You guys suck. Oh, God. Oh. Thought my phone was ringing for a second. Okay, so this clip was from your boy Davey, and I get it. Thanks, guys. But no, this video is from Davey, and thank you so much, Davey, because this is actually a really, really interesting video. This is somebody from the BBC, maybe Carl here himself. I'm not quite sure if he's reposting this or if this is him narrating it, but it's really, really interesting. It's somebody translating and going through the Russian newspapers and just how they're framing this and how they're describing this to the Russian people. This is actually really, really funny. I could not see what you showed. Why was it funny? I was saying that the Ukrainians were liberating Russian girlfriends, and it was a bunch of goats. They were goats in the trench. Russians military having sex with goats. It's a bestiality. Yes. Anyway, this clip is really, really interesting. Joke as old as time. It really is. Maybe next time. Yeah, maybe next time. You'll get him next time, trooper. You'll get him next time. But no, okay. This clip is actually really, really interesting. This guy, like I said, narrating, going through these Russian newspapers, kind of giving us an idea of what your average day of Russian propaganda. And yeah, the person coming in propagandizing for Russia, saying it's not the Russian civilians' fault. He's wrong. But with that said, the Russian civilian has every obstacle against them in getting real information, right? VPN, you have to use a VPN on your internet. You have to, you can't, there's no newsstand. You can't go to the magazine newsstand. There's no piece of paper you're going to get that's going to give you the truth. If you want the truth, you have to seek it out. And if you actively seek it out, you're putting yourself in danger, to be arrested by the Russian government. So it's a very real situation. I understand that. With that said, can we say any civilian is, any citizen of a government that commits crimes, are those citizens 100% innocent? Sometimes I think there's the case, right? You got your odd madman completely surprising people. I'm sure there's incidences in history like that. But, a big part of power is deriving that from a population, a big group of people. How is it possible that a government can commit all these crimes in front of its population, in front of everybody, and then the population that cedes its power to that government is innocent completely? Not really. Doesn't mean civilians deserve death, and doesn't mean that civilians are still not innocent. It doesn't mean that it's not tragic when they die, of course, but can any civilian, any citizen of a country that commits crimes truly say that they are innocent when their tax dollars and their, acquiescence allows these governments to commit atrocities? I don't think so. I don't know what the percentage would be. I don't think we'll ever know philosophically how guilty is a citizen, right? But I do think that's important to talk about. They get all their power from us.
This is day 4
of
Ukraine's surprise cross-border attack on Russia's Kursk region. Looking at how the Russian papers are reporting this today, here's something I find interesting. Keep in mind that most of these newspapers,
well, you watch the News Underground, that's good enough,
are extremely pro-Kremlin.
Not really.
What's interesting is that there is an acknowledgement in some of these dailies that thus far the Ukrainian army has been pretty successful in Kursk region.
Yeah.
Moskovsky.
So that's kind of the overall narrative, right, of this analysis, is that the newspapers are kind of like, yeah, the Ukrainians are kicking a lot of butt. Are we going to do something about this?
Komsomolets puts it like this. In the short and medium term, the purely military aspect is something quite different. The Zelensky regime has made a strong move, creating unpleasant conclusions and consequences for our side.
Interesting.
If your enemy is strong,
Russian newspaper,
no one in their right mind doubts that the Ukrainian armed forces are a strong and highly motivated opponent for Russia, then you must be ready for your enemy to make strong and unexpected moves that will occasionally take you by surprise.
Oh, reality?
A military expert tells Izvestia, we need to say clearly the enemy is acting skillfully, daringly, and by all the rules of the art of war.
100%.
It used drones as air cover for its tactical groups, then deployed its reserves and battalion tactical groups, which attacked on different sections of Sudzha, Korenyov and Rilsk districts. It also boosted its air defense capabilities, which follow behind. Komsomolskaya Pravda shows Putin meeting his security chiefs 2 days ago. The paper quotes Chief of the General Staff Valery Gerasimov telling President Putin...
Valery. Oh. I thought it was Valerie.
...that the enemy's advance deep into the territory of Kursk region has been stopped. But based on reports yesterday, that clearly wasn't the case. Izvestia admits that it's too early to talk about the situation stabilizing. Moskovsky Komsomolets. In Kursk region, the situation remains difficult. The government paper, Rossiyskaya Gazeta, unfortunately the enemy succeeded in entrenching itself in an area around several of our villages near the border.
They're dug in now.
What does Russia believe Ukraine's objective is here? In Izvestia, a Russian lieutenant colonel in the reserves hazards these guesses. Ukraine's first aim is to show its Western sponsors and curators that the Ukrainian armed forces can not only retreat, but produce results. The second probable aim is to secure a foothold in the Kursk region that can be traded at any future talks. Third, it's an attempt to force us, Russia, to deploy our reserves to Kursk, leaving other areas uncovered. Moskovsky Komsomolets asks, how will Putin respond to Kursk? It's an interesting question because the Kremlin leader has described what's happening as a provocation. He hasn't used the word invasion, and there's been no official declaration of war by Putin. As far as the Kremlin's concerned, Russia is still conducting a special military operation. Komsomolets claims...
Do you think you'd get in big trouble if you just chuckled? If, you know, whatever's like, if you just laughed? If you were like a member of the cabinet and he says, oh, this is a provocation, you just start... you just laugh. How much trouble do you think you'd get in?
Claims this. Putin refuses to play by the rules, which his partners in Kiev try to force on him. They're trying to push Putin into immediate dramatic measures and gestures. Measures will definitely be taken, but only when it suits Russia and the president, not the enemy. The writer concludes by saying this.
Russia and the president, so they're two separate things.
Cannot leave what has happened without a fitting response. Simply pushing the Ukrainian army out of Kursk region may be only one part of this. Nezavisima Gazeta has this prediction. Once it has expelled the Ukrainian army from Russian territory, Russia's northern grouping of forces will probably attack Ukraine's Sumy region.
Yeah, you think so, Zeoduke? This is an amazing video that I don't have time for. This is a Vlad Vexler video. The meaning of Ukraine's Kursk invasion. Well, I might have time, actually. Let me see what we got left. Oh, this is such a good video, man. No, it's too heady. People don't get it. I don't have time for it, and I should have done it at the beginning of the stream, not at the end. I don't have time for it, but I do recommend watching it. It's really good stuff. Check out Vlad Vexler. So I wanted to end the stream featuring two beautiful people from Ukraine who are doing everything they can to stand up. Thank you, Extended, for that follow. But they're doing everything they can to fight against Russia's aggression. They're not giving up, especially this woman. You know, the next video is a little bit more silly, but this is a very serious video. You know, obviously this woman injured, shrapnel, you know, an explosive went off right close to her face, and this is what it looks like. You know, she's got injuries all over. She's going to heal up. She's not going to look like this permanently. This is scabbing, but she will have the scars all over her face for the rest of her life. And I just wanted to show you what she had to say because I think these are very poignant words. She's a very beautiful person in my eyes.
Друзі, я так рада, що ви бачите, що я борюсь з цим всім. І що я йду на поправку, навіть незважаючи на цей біль, а він дуже є нестерпний. Я продовжую боротися за себе і за наш дім, за все. Просто я хочу самі собі доказувати і показувати, що я дуже сильний і що я зі всім справлюсь. А завдяки вашій вірі це все можливо. Оченятка сьогодні дійсно вже стали краще.
So she's saying her eyes are better. Well, I got to say she's lucky to even have vision at all. Lucky.
Я тут не одна, зі мною мама, приходять до мене люди. Я всім дякую за привітання, за побажання найкраще, за донати. Ви неймовірні люди. І я хочу сказати, я не соромлюсь себе зараз, бо це є обличчя.
So she says, I'm not ashamed because this is the face of war. It is cruel. It is like this. And it is not feminine.
Війни, вона жорстока, вона така і вона не жіноча. Все буде Україна.
That's a true hero right there. That's a true hero. This, I mean, this frame right here, you can see there's definitely some damage there. But that's really something else. What she said, this, she says, and I want to say I'm not ashamed of myself now because this is the face of war. It is cruel. It is like this, and it is not feminine. And that tells me she's like, she made this commitment. She was a soldier. She was fighting on the front line. She made this commitment to sacrifice herself for war, for democracy in Ukraine, for a better world. And she's not ashamed of it. This is what it looks like. A lot of people get to hide it. This is kind of like, this is why, the characters in Tarantino's movie was carving the swastika, right? Because, Nazis, they get to take off that uniform and then you don't know they're Nazis. Well, it's, she doesn't get to take this off. This is the result of Russia's brutal aggression. She's not ashamed of fighting against it. This is what it looks like when you have to fight. It's ugly, it's cruel. And she's not ashamed of it at all. Yeah, it was likely some explosion very close to her, debris, dirt, glass, could have been glass flying in her face. But yeah, it's not dirt. It's not dirt. Those are scabs, because those are all little mini injuries all over her body there. She was hit with a shrapnel there, Lucky to be alive. Lucky to be alive. But an absolute hero. And I hope she, if she wants to return to the front lines, I hope she does that successfully. And if she wants to maybe retire from the front lines and continue fighting, behind the front lines, I would encourage her all the same. Absolute hero. And, this is the face of war. It's not pretty. Here's a different face of war that's a little bit more sexy.
We are Ukrainians. Of course we always wear body armor. We are Ukrainians.
My
of course
God.
we drive armored vehicles.
My God, the mustache ride that this man would give you.
We are Ukrainians. Of course we can survive without electricity. We are Ukrainians. Of course we are skilled in weapons.
That the sound you hear is actually not the knife entering the tree, believe it or not.
Of course we are skilled in weapons.
Oh shit, dude, he fucking all right. You see what he did there? He engaged the first round with the knife. Shut up.
We are Ukrainians. Of course, we're all incredibly grateful for all your support.
Hey, great guy. Awesome. And wow. Holy shit. Save some for the rest of us, buddy. Damn. I mean, I'm married, but I'm not that fucking married. Gee. No, I'm just kidding. Love you, honey. What can you do? Look, we were alone in the trench. The Russians were shelling. His chest was so warm. The curves of his abs felt so nice between my fingers. Ah! No, he looks great. He used to look like that 50 years ago. I believe it. I look like that right now, except it's an optical illusion. I'm tricking everybody. I'm like a chameleon. Welcome back to Memento. Sorry you got here at the very end, bud. But no, that's the end of the stream. Sorry, everybody. Bye. Bye. Stream over. Bye. He hack, he attack, but first he a snack. Oh! From Cadillac. That's from Cadillac. No, big props to literally everybody in here. Like I said before, it's the regulators in the chat. Our number one. It's the number one chat on Twitch. I don't want to hear no bullshit from anybody else. Your clown ass chats flying at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Oh, look at me, 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 look at me. Clown ass motherfucking chats. This is the real chat. This is the real discussion. Realest motherfuckers on Twitch right here. News Underground. Zio Duke, Cadillac, Lenny, Female Eunuchs, Memento, all you OGs, Smash. Thank you for all the new follows. Thank you to all the lurkers. Woke Patriot, Ice King of Space, Chem Goblin. We got ribbons. We got strategy member. Extended. Welcome back. Got a new viewer. Scatterbox. You seem all right. We'll give you props. Trailhead. All the classics. All the classics. Bunch of new users. Thank you coming in. Who else here? Who else here? Davey, your boy Davey stopped in for a bit. Thank you, Davey. Who else? We had Quick Double Tap stopped in. Arbitoire. There's Arbitoire. Thank you again. Quick Double Tap. Arbitoire. Harmony over here. Netanyahu wanted to talk about Israel. Doppler. Thank you for coming in, Doppler. Free Palestine. Indeed. Vizon. Big props to Vizon. Mitsu. Big props to Mitsu. Mozambique. Over there at Kick, Mozambique, on the Kick platform for some godforsaken reason. But yeah, we're on there. Classica, a new friend from Ukraine. Thank you, Classica, for coming in, giving us your perspective. Blue Brother, all the way from Germany. Thank you, Blue Brother, all the way from Germany. Thank you so much for all of your perspectives, all of your comments. And Zio Duke's 100%. This is the #1 chat. Goats. We even had Goats. I'm playing my PS5 right now. David, congratulations. You know, there's starving kids in Africa that don't have PS5s. No, Vizon. Lurkers rock. If you're lurking, you rock. Easy. That's easy. That's a slam dunk. If you're lurking, you rock. Because you're not disagreeing with me in the chat. So that's great. You're like the perfect you're like perfect. All right, everybody. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. And let's not forget the solution to all of our problems. Political activism. Step 1, inform ourselves. Step 2, Step 1, inform ourselves. Step 2, put your name down. Sign up to an organization. And step 3, put in the fucking work. Goog and swoop, motherfuckers. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East, and glory to the Ukrainian democracy. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Zio Duke. I'm doing the best I can. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind thoughts, positive energy. Thank you so much. I'm trying to hold it together. Fuck, man. I'm trying. News Underground, bitch. #1 for news. News Underground. Abandoned nihilism. One day. One day. One day. News Underground. Abandoned nihilism. Peace out. Thank you, Lenny. Big props to Lenny. Yeah, I'm gonna play Cyberpunk really soon, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm gonna play some Cyberpunk really soon. It's ready. It's finally ready.
Damn,
Smash. Take care of yourself, everybody.
The world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, anime's solid, dude. Cyberpunk anime. Check it out. It's pretty solid. Have a good one, everybody.
Demons in my soul, 666 with no love. Like a piece of walking dead, bullets in your head, so fuck yeah, boy. I blast you in your ass with this mask. I blizz ass the tip, then leave your body flat. Worms crawling, and then I take this to my basement. You stink, then I drink till they wonder where you went. My bitches at the crib with a trick you